What happens when the president takes over your city's police force?
National Guard members are now patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. after President Trump launched his crackdown on crime. Their first mission is to patrol the National Mall and offer a presence at the city's monument.
Tonight, America's capital becomes the proving ground for a power move no one saw coming, a federal takeover with no emergency declared, and a battle over who truly controls the streets of the United States. Late Monday night, President Donald Trump invoked Section 740 of the 1973 Home Rule Act. In plain terms, it means he has the authority to federalize the D.C. Metro Police and call in the National Guard. Within hours, between 800 and 1,000 troops were ordered to take positions across Washington. Officially, the move was to ensure stability and protect federal assets. But here's the twist. Violent crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low. No riots, no state of emergency, no public safety collapse. So why now? Supporters call it decisive leadership, proof the federal government can act fast. Critics call it an alarming power grab, and a rehearsal for something bigger. The Home Rule Act was passed in 1973 to give D.C. limited self-governance. But there's a catch. Because D.C. isn't a state, Congress and the president can override its local authority. Section 740 gives the president power to assume direct control of the D.C. police in certain emergencies. The catch? The definition of emergency is up to the president. This isn't martial law, it's technically legal, but legal doesn't mean uncontroversial. Why deploy troops when crime is down? Analysts point to one answer: politics. With the election cycle in full swing, Trump is sending a message: I'm in control. And in politics, optics can matter more than statistics. Mayor Muriel Bowser didn't mince words. She called the move unsettling and an affront to D.C.'s autonomy. Legal teams are preparing to challenge the order in federal court, arguing the takeover violates constitutional principles of local governance. If that lawsuit goes forward, it could force the courts to define the limits of presidential control over a U.S. city. And it's not just D.C. Activists warn that if this precedent stands, future presidents could use it anywhere with federal jurisdiction. From New York to Chicago to border cities, the possibility of federal intervention is no longer just theory. This is now a tested blueprint. The move also reignites old fears, memories of when federal troops were used to crush protests or enforce controversial orders. Civil rights groups warn the symbolism is dangerous. Armed military presence on city streets in peacetime sends a message, and not a subtle one. To them, it's about more than D.C. It's about the direction of American democracy. Across the globe, headlines are framing this as a sign of America turning inward, tightening its own chains. Some draw chilling parallels to Hungary, Turkey, even Russia, where leaders have mastered the art of using the law itself to pull all power into their own hands. Some analysts suggest the real reasons are locked behind classified walls, buried in threat assessments, secret reports, or quiet fears of riots igniting at the next political spark. Secrecy leaves a void, and in that void, speculation thrives. What if the next flashpoint isn't D.C., but your city? And what if the decision bypasses your governor, your mayor, your city council, and comes straight from the Oval Office? This fight could reach the Supreme Court, where a single ruling could either cement the president's power to override local policing in the nation's capital, or shatter it, setting a historic limit on executive authority. This isn't just about a city. Strip away the politics, and you're left with a single question: how breakable are the rules we thought could never be broken? What begins as a legal fight now could redraw America's political map for decades to come. This isn't just D.C.'s problem, it's a warning. Should we assume it could happen anywhere in America? Today, it's Washington, D.C., but tomorrow, it could be your city. No tanks, no gunfire, just a signature, and the rules of power rewritten overnight.